Majdalah, Louis Abraham from Defend the Faith. So, with all the fear going around with the coronavirus and the spread of coronavirus, our church has made some decisions and recommendations on what goes on in the Mass. Now, some of those decisions are, not receiving the Eucharist on the tongue, and the other one is the peace offering. They're the decisions that have been made. Now, I'm not here to talk about that specifically today because I have my own thoughts, and the people that know me will actually know what my thoughts will be around that. So I'll probably touch on that a little bit later. But what I couldn't help noticing is all the comments and the discussions around some other things that people believe the church should have done, and that is the collection plate and donating towards the church. Now, I've got a concern with some of the language being used around that, because there are people that talk about, the money, the church, the priest, and why you're giving money to them, and all of that. So, guys, I really thought I'll take this opportunity to talk about this specifically. Okay. Now, where do I start? Now, as an example, when we go to confession, we reflect on the Ten Commandments, and that helps us make a good confession. Okay, but what we also do have is the precepts of the church. Now, giving to your church is one of those. Actually, we're mortally obliged to give to our church. If we don't give to our church, it's a sin. Now, I'm not saying if you don't give your church $1 million, you're committing a sin. No. Look at the elderly woman. She gave what she can afford, and that's the same for us. We give what we can afford. Okay. Now, the collection plate is a means or a way on how you get money to the church. Okay. But it's not the only way to get money to the church. Now, if you're actually concerned about, for those who usually receive on the tongue, and you're concerned about, touching your money or touching the collection plate, and then you're being asked or recommended to go up and receive in the hand, and then you're touching the Holy Eucharist with your hand. If you have a concern about doing that, which I do, to be quite frank, I have a concern that if you do have a concern, there are other ways on getting your donation to the church. You can put the money in an envelope and give it to the priest before Mass, or give it to him after Mass, or give it to the church at another time. Okay, so there are other ways of doing it. You can offer up an intention, put some money in an envelope and say to the priest that I'd like to offer up this Mass for the souls of purgatory, or for someone who's sick, or whatever your intention may be. So there are other means and other ways of getting your donation to the church. Boycotting it and saying, they didn't do anything about that, I don't think that's the right way to think about that. Okay. Especially with the concerns that we do have. Okay, there is a concern of touching the Holy Eucharist after you've just touch money. I completely hear what you're saying, but I don't support the people who are saying don't give to the church. So please just think about that for one moment. Now, just the other thing I wanted to say as well, which I think is really, really important. It doesn't matter what we do, whether we say don't do this in church, or don't do that, or don't do this. If somebody enters the church with the coronavirus or some kind of a virus, and they're sitting right next to you, okay, within 15 minutes, there could be a good chance that they're going to pass on that virus in some way. So it doesn't matter what change that we make. So I think it's really important that we start a campaign with your friends and your family and within your community, and you tell your loved ones and your friends, you say, if you're not feeling well or you're feeling sick, just go get checked out. And then based on the doctor's advice, if they say that you need to be quarantined or you can't be around people, then take that advice and stay at home. And as Sayyidina said in his letter, that there are other ways for you to pray, and if you can't make it to Mass that day, there are other ways of doing it. Okay, because coming to Mass sick and not being checked out, then you are putting the community and the people at risk. So I really want you guys to focus on telling your friends and family to get themselves checked out, and if they can't come, they can't come. That's important. And just one last thing as well, I want to say, it is a recommendation that the church has made about receiving the Eucharist in the hand. As for me personally, I will be still receiving on the tongue, because if I caught the coronavirus by receiving Christ, on the tongue, if I caught the coronavirus that way, I would actually be humbled and honoured to say that it was worth it. God bless you, and I'll talk to you soon.